We've all been there. Someone disrespects you, someone betrays you, someone doubts you, and the natural response? Anger. You want to react. You want to prove a point. You want to strike back. But what if I told you that silence, your silence, has more power than any outburst of rage ever could? Silence is strength. Silence is discipline. Silence is wisdom. And if you use it right, it will break those who try to bring you down in ways that anger never could. Let's explore some powerful reasons why silence is your greatest weapon. Silence is a powerful force. It does not beg for attention, does not demand justification, and yet it speaks louder than any argument ever could. When someone wrongs you, the natural instinct is to react, to defend, to fight back, to make them see the pain they've caused. But reaction gives them an escape, a distraction, a way to shift the blame. When you stay silent, you remove that escape. You leave them alone with the weight of their own choices. There is something about silence that unsettles a guilty conscience. When there is no one to argue with, no words to twist, no battle to engage in, all that remains is the truth. And the truth has a way of growing heavier in the quiet. It presses down on their mind, settles into their thoughts, and follows them in moments they least expect. At first, they may act unaffected, indifferent, as if your silence means nothing. But deep down, the absence of your response speaks volumes. They know what they've done. They know they crossed a line. And without your reaction to fight against, they are left with the only thing they truly fear, facing themselves. People can justify anything to themselves when they are caught in the heat of conflict. They can convince themselves they were right, that they had no choice, that you overreacted. But when you choose silence, you take away their ability to justify. No arguments to fuel their defense, no heated words to hold against you, just silence. And silence demands reflection. It forces them to replay their words, their actions, their betrayal. And in that reflection, guilt starts to settle in. At first, it's just a whisper, a fleeting thought, but as time passes, it grows louder, heavier, more undeniable. Because they know deep down, your silence is not weakness, it is strength. It is the proof that you did not need to explain, did not need to justify, did not need to engage. You already knew the truth, and that truth is now theirs to carry. Some will try to escape it. They will distract themselves, surround themselves with noise, seek validation from others. But guilt does not disappear. It lingers, it waits, and in the quiet moments, it returns. It reminds them. And the weight of it will be far greater than any words you could have spoken in anger. So the next time someone betrays you, the next time someone tries to hurt you, remember this. Your silence is not for them, it is for you. It is your refusal to participate in their game, your decision to rise above their chaos, and while they struggle with the burden of their own guilt, you walk away free, untouched, and stronger than ever. There is a game that manipulators play. They push, they prod, they provoke, waiting for a reaction, because the moment you react, they have you. They have control over your emotions, your energy, your peace of mind. They want you angry, upset, defensive. Because if they can make you react, they can dictate the terms of the battle. But when you refuse to play, when you refuse to react, they are left with nothing. And nothing frustrates them more than that. Silence is not weakness, it is not surrender. It is the ultimate power move. When you do not engage, you deny them control. You strip away their influence over your emotions. They can throw insults, spread lies, create chaos, but if you do not respond, all their efforts fall flat. They expect you to fight back. They want you to lose your composure. They are counting on your reaction to justify their actions. But when you remain calm, when you meet their fire with silence, you show them something they cannot stand: indifference. And indifference to someone who thrives on control is unbearable. There is nothing more unsettling to those who seek to manipulate than a person who refuses to be moved. They want you emotionally entangled. They want you second-guessing yourself. But when you hold your ground, when you refuse to let their words dictate your state of mind, they begin to lose their grip. They realize they have no power over you, and that realization terrifies them. Silence forces them to face a truth they don't want to accept. You are not theirs to control. You are not a puppet easily pulled into their drama. You are not someone they can toy with, provoke, and manipulate at will. Your silence becomes a wall they cannot climb, a mirror they cannot distort. They see their own desperation, their own weakness reflected back at them, and suddenly they are the ones feeling powerless. But more importantly, silence is not just about them, it's about you. It's about keeping your peace. It's about choosing your battles wisely. It's about recognizing that not every insult, not every criticism, not every attempt to shake you deserves your energy. Some fights are beneath you. Some people do not deserve a seat at your table. When you stay silent, you send a message without saying a word. I do not need your approval. I do not need your validation. I do not need to explain myself to you. So the next time someone tries to drag you into their chaos, remember this: your silence is your shield. It is your way of standing tall without lowering yourself to their level. And when they realize they can no longer manipulate you, when they see that their words have no effect, they will do the only thing left: they will fade away. Because without your reaction, without your energy, without your participation, they lose. And you win. Control is a rare and powerful thing. Most people go through life reacting to circumstances, to people, to emotions. They let the world dictate their state of mind. They allow frustration to pull them into conflict, anger to cloud their judgment, and pride to make them say things they'll later regret. But the person who masters silence, the person who chooses not to react, that is the person who holds true power. Because silence is not just the absence of words. It is the presence of discipline. It is the mark of someone who is not ruled by emotion, but guided by wisdom. When someone provokes you, they are testing you. They want to see if they can shake you, if they can pull you into their storm. And the moment you react in anger, you prove that they succeeded. But when you remain silent, you send a message. I am not controlled by you. I am not controlled by this situation. I am in control of myself. Silence commands respect in a way that words never could. A person who reacts emotionally is predictable. A person who stays composed, who refuses to be rattled, who chooses silence when others expect rage, that person is unpredictable. And unpredictability is power, because the moment they realize they cannot push you off balance, they start to rethink their approach. They start to recognize that you are not easily swayed, not easily manipulated, not easily thrown into the chaos they had planned for you. But silence is not just about how others perceive you, it's about how you perceive yourself. When you stay silent in the face of provocation, you prove something important. You prove to yourself that you are in charge of your emotions. You prove that no one else gets to dictate how you feel, how you act, how you respond. And when you begin to live with that level of control, everything changes. You stop wasting energy on people who don't deserve it. You stop getting pulled into battles that don't serve you. You stop allowing outside forces to determine your inner peace. Some will mistake your silence for weakness. Let them. Let them believe what they want, because in time they will see the truth. They will see that silence is not a lack of strength. It is proof of it. It takes strength to hold your tongue when your emotions beg you to speak. It takes strength to walk away when every part of you wants to engage. It takes strength to stand firm in the face of disrespect and give nothing in return. And that strength will set you apart. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this: you do not have to respond to everything. You do not have to prove yourself to anyone. You do not have to let others pull you into their storms, because the person who controls their emotions, the person who chooses silence over reaction, is the person who truly leads. And that person is you. There are people in this world who thrive on attention. They stir the pot, create drama, and throw out insults, all in an attempt to be seen, to be acknowledged, to feel important. They crave a reaction because that reaction feeds their ego. It reassures them that they matter, that they have influence, that they can control the emotions of others. But what happens when you don't give them what they want? What happens when you give them nothing? Silence. And silence is something they cannot handle. When you refuse to react, you take away their fuel. You remove their ability to manipulate, to provoke, to control. At first, they may push harder, trying to get some kind of response, anger, frustration, even a simple acknowledgement. But when you continue to hold your ground, they are left with nothing but their own emptiness. They are forced to seek validation elsewhere, to find someone else who will feed their ego, someone else who will give them the attention they so desperately crave. But here's the truth. Attention seekers will always find themselves running in circles, because no amount of outside validation can ever fill the void inside of them. They believe that if they can control others, if they can force a reaction, they will feel powerful. But real power is never found in manipulation. It is found in self-restraint. It is found in the ability to stand firm, unmoved, unshaken. And when you display that kind of strength, they are the ones left feeling weak. And the longer they search for validation, the more they begin to realize something. They were never as important as they thought they were. Their words, their insults, their desperate attempts to provoke were not as significant as they imagined. Because the only way their tactics could have worked was if you had allowed them to. But you didn't. You didn't fall into the trap. You didn't give them the satisfaction. You didn't play the game. And in doing so, you exposed the truth. They were never in control to begin with. Some will move on, searching for easier targets. Others will start to reflect, to question why they need so badly to be noticed, why they rely on the reactions of others to feel significant. Either way, it is no longer your concern. You have already won the battle by refusing to fight it. Because in the end, the real victory is not in proving them wrong, not in putting them in their place, not in meeting their fire with fire. The real victory is in walking away with your peace intact. The real victory is in knowing that their words, their actions, their attempts to shake you did not succeed, that you remained unshaken, untouchable, in control. And that is something no one can take away from you. Energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. Every thought you entertain, every conversation you engage in, every battle you choose to fight takes energy. And the question is, where is your energy going? Is it building you up, moving you forward, helping you grow? Or is it being drained by people and situations that add no value to your life? Anger is one of the quickest ways to deplete your energy. It consumes your mind, hijacks your emotions, and steals your focus. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to argue? How much time and mental space it takes up? Long after the conversation is over, you're still replaying it in your head, thinking of what you should have said, what you could have done differently. And meanwhile, the person who provoked you, they've already moved on, looking for their next victim. But silence, that's different. Silence is a choice. Silence is the discipline of refusing to waste your energy on what does not serve you. When you stay silent, you are not giving up. You are not backing down. You are simply saying, my energy is too valuable to be spent on this. And that is a level of self-retreat that few people ever master. Think about the people who try to provoke you, the ones who test your patience, who poke at your insecurities, who seem to thrive on conflict. What do they want? They want your energy. They want you to engage, to get worked up, to lose your composure. Because the moment you react, they've won. They've pulled you into their chaos. They've taken your focus off what truly matters and dragged you into a battle that benefits no one. But when you remain silent, you refuse to play their game. You keep your energy, you keep your focus, you keep your power. And the best part, you walk away unaffected. While they waste their energy trying to get a reaction, you use yours to build, to grow, to move forward. You spend it on your goals, your dreams, your success. Some people may see silence as weakness, but let them misunderstand. Because the truth is, it takes far more strength to remain silent than it does to lash out. It takes discipline to walk away. It takes wisdom to know when a battle is not worth fighting. So the next time someone tries to steal your energy with their negativity, their insults, their attempts to provoke, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my time, my peace, my focus? And if the answer is no, then do what strong people do. Stay silent, keep your energy, move forward. Because while others waste their days locked in battles that don't matter, there's something fascinating about human nature. People expect a reaction. When they push, they anticipate resistance. When they throw words like weapons, they expect a counterattack. When they seek to provoke, they are counting on your emotions to rise up and meet them. It's a pattern as old as time. Action and reaction, attack and defense, strike and retaliation. But when you refuse to engage, when you meet their hostility with nothing but silence, you break that pattern. And that, more than anything else, throws them off balance. Imagine a person stepping into a fight, fists clenched, ready for battle. They swing, but their punch never lands because their opponent isn't there. Instead of being met with force, they are met with nothingness. Suddenly, they are left alone in their own aggression, standing in an empty arena, confused, uncertain, off balance. That is what silence does. It removes their power. It disarms them in a way no words ever could. People who seek to provoke are looking for control. They want to dictate the flow of the conversation, manipulate your emotions, and steer the interaction in their favor. But when you remain silent, you force them into uncertainty. Did they hear me? Did I go too far? Do they even care? That doubt starts to creep in. They expected anger. They expected a reaction. They expected to see you flustered, defensive, or enraged. But instead, they see a calm, composed person who refuses to engage. And nothing is more unsettling to someone seeking control than realizing they have none. And here's where the real power of silence comes in. It forces them to turn inward. When you fight back, you give them a reason to justify their actions. See, I was right. Look at how they reacted. But when you give them nothing, they are left alone with their own behavior. And that stillness creates discomfort. It forces them to question themselves in a way they never expected. Did they misjudge the situation? Did they lose their grip? Did they just expose their own insecurity? This is the brilliance of silence. It doesn't just stop the fight. It shifts the power. It moves the weight from your shoulders to theirs. It forces them to wrestle with the reality that their words, their manipulation, their attempts to control no longer work on you. And that realization is unsettling. But most importantly, silence protects your peace. You do not need to prove yourself to people who are looking for a fight. You do not need to validate their behavior by engaging with it. You do not need to exhaust your energy on someone whose goal is to drain you. Because when you stand in silence, you stand in power. And when they realize they can no longer shake you, they will have no choice but to walk away, while you remain standing, unbothered, in complete control. There is a certain power in restraint, in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. The world is filled with noise, people talking endlessly, arguing pointlessly, filling every empty space with words. But not all words carry weight. Not all voices command attention. In fact, the more someone speaks, the more their words begin to lose value. But those who understand the power of silence, they stand apart. Silence is not emptiness, it is presence. It is a signal of control, of discipline, of a mind that does not waste words, but chooses them carefully. When you remain silent in moments where others expect you to react, you create intrigue. People begin to wonder what you're thinking. They start to notice you, not because you're the loudest voice in the room, but because you have chosen to say nothing at all. And that choice makes you stand out. There is a reason why the wisest individuals throughout history have been known for their ability to listen more than they speak. They understand that words have power, but only when used with intention. When you hold your words, you build a presence that is felt. Your silence becomes a statement in itself. It tells people that you are not easily swayed, not easily provoked. It tells them that you are thinking, observing, absorbing. And when you do choose to speak, people listen. Think about the great leaders, the mentors, the figures of influence you admire. They don't waste their energy on meaningless chatter. They don't react to every slight, every insult, every attempt to pull them into unnecessary conflict. Instead, they operate with purpose. When they speak, they do so with clarity, with authority, with wisdom. And because they do not speak often, their words carry weight. Now, contrast that with the person who speaks constantly, who feels the need to respond to everything, who always has something to say. Over time, their words lose their power. People stop paying attention. They become background noise, easy to ignore because there is no depth in what they say. But when someone who is usually silent finally speaks, everyone turns to listen because they know this person doesn't waste words. If they are speaking now, it must mean something. Your presence is not determined by how loudly you speak, but by how wisely you choose to use your voice. When you develop the discipline to stay silent when it is not necessary to speak, you elevate yourself in the eyes of others. You become the person whose words are valued, whose opinion is sought after, whose presence commands respect. So remember this: silence is not weakness, it is not absence, it is not passivity. Silence is power, it is influence, it is a presence that demands attention without ever asking for it. And when the time comes for you to speak, your words will not just be heard, they will be remembered. One of the most powerful things you can do in any situation is to remain silent. It's a tool that doesn't require force, doesn't need anger, doesn't demand anything from you but presence. And yet, it can reveal more about a person than any confrontation ever could. You see, when you choose silence over engagement, you don't just protect your peace, you create a mirror. You force others to reflect their true selves without ever needing to expose yours. When you don't engage, you create a space that others are forced to fill. And how they fill that space says everything about them. Some people, when faced with silence, will escalate. They will turn up the heat, throw more insults, raise the stakes, because they want control. They want to provoke you. They want to see you react. But what they don't realize is that the more they escalate, the more they reveal their true colors. In their anger, in their desperation for a reaction, they show you who they really are. Someone who thrives on manipulation, someone who needs to dominate, someone who cannot handle being ignored. But here's the thing, this is a gift. Because by staying silent, you don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to wait for time to reveal their character. It's all laid out right in front of you. Their words, their actions, their inability to handle your peace. All of it shows you exactly what you are dealing with. And in that moment, you can make a decision about whether or not you want to engage with that person again. You don't have to fight them to understand them. You just have to stay silent. On the other hand, there are those who, when faced with silence, will retreat. They will recognize that they have no power over you, no control over your emotions, no ability to provoke you into a reaction. And in that moment, they will pull back, realizing that their tactics don't work. Their aggression falls flat. Their manipulation fails. And in that retreat, you see a different side of them. Perhaps one that is less confrontational, perhaps one that respects you more, or perhaps one that simply knows they cannot win. But either way, you've learned something valuable. By remaining silent, you don't just protect your own energy, you also force others to show their true intentions, their true nature, their true self. You don't need to fight, argue, or waste your time. You simply need to stay calm, composed, and unshaken. The world will reveal who people really are, and all you have to do is watch. This is the beauty of silence. It is a weapon of strength. It is a tactic of wisdom. It teaches you lessons about others that you can't learn any other way. Because in the end, the greatest advantage you can have in any situation is not the ability to win the argument, but the ability to learn the truth about who you are dealing with. And silence is the key that unlocks that truth every time. In a world full of distractions, noise, and constant chaos, the ability to remain silent is a rare and powerful skill. We often think that the mark of strength is found in our ability to speak, to react, to assert ourselves at every turn. But the truth is, the greatest strength lies in self-mastery, specifically the mastery of your own mind, your emotions, and your reactions. And nothing teaches you self-discipline more than silence. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is the presence of control. It requires patience to stay silent when every part of you wants to respond, to react, to lash out. It demands restraint when provoked, when pushed to the edge. It asks you to sit with discomfort, to remain still in the face of pressure, and to let go of the need to defend yourself. And in that silence, something profound happens. You become the master of yourself. Self-mastery is the foundation of all true strength. When you learn to control your impulses, to remain calm when chaos surrounds you, you unlock a power that few people ever tap into. It's the power to stay centered, no matter what the world throws at you. It's the power to choose your response, rather than reacting blindly to circumstances. And silence is the vehicle that takes you there. Think about the moments in life when you felt the urge to speak, to shout, to argue, to prove your point. Now imagine if you had chosen silence instead. Imagine how much more powerful you would have felt in that moment, how much more control you would have had over your emotions and your actions. Every time you choose silence, you build that muscle of self-discipline. You teach yourself that you don't need to react to every provocation, to every comment, to every challenge. You teach yourself that your peace, your strength, and your focus are more important than any fleeting moment of approval or victory in an argument. When you master silence, you gain the power to control any situation you face in life. Because it's not the external world that dictates your success, it's how you handle the internal world. It's the choices you make when faced with temptation, frustration, anger, or fear. And in each of those moments, silence gives you the space to make the right choice. The person who has mastered silence is not someone who is weak or passive. No, they are the strongest person in the room because they are in complete control of themselves. They understand that the key to success is not always in what they say, but in how they choose to respond. They know that silence speaks louder than words, and that by staying quiet, they are not giving up their power, they are asserting it. So, the next time you face a situation that would typically trigger your emotions, remember this: silence is your greatest tool. It is your opportunity to practice restraint, to build inner strength, and to master your own reactions. And in doing so, you will find that your power grows exponentially. Because self-mastery is not just the greatest strength you can possess, it is the key to unlocking the best version of yourself. There is a powerful truth that many overlook. The most potent way to respond to those who doubt you, criticize you, or try to bring you down is not through words, but through action. We live in a world where people are quick to judge, quick to comment, quick to question your every move. But the greatest revenge, the most effective way to show them they were wrong, is not to engage in their noise. It is to let your success speak for itself. Think about it. When someone doubts you, when they dismiss your potential or try to undermine your efforts, they expect a reaction. They want you to fight back, to defend yourself, to get caught in their web of negativity. They want to see you stumble, to see you fall into their trap of anger and frustration. But what if you didn't give them that satisfaction? What if, instead, you stayed focused, worked tirelessly toward your goals, and let your achievements become the answer? Success has a way of silencing all doubts. It doesn't need to argue. It doesn't need to defend itself. This isn't about seeking revenge or trying to prove anyone wrong. It's about choosing a better path. It's about deciding that your energy is too valuable to be spent on meaningless arguments. It's about realizing that your time is better spent working on your dreams than fighting against the opinions of others. The more you focus on your goals, the more you channel your energy into building the life you want, the less power those negative voices will have, and the less time the entrepreneur has left. And here's the beautiful part. When success comes, it comes in waves. It's not just a small victory here and there. It's a rising tide that lifts you higher than anyone could have ever predicted. And when that happens, when you finally stand in the light of your hard work, your silence will have been the thing that carried you there. While others were talking, you were working. While they were doubting, you were progressing. And now, when they see the results of your efforts, all they will be left with is the realization that they were wrong to underestimate you. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them think they've won. Their opinions are fleeting, and they will soon fade into the background of your success. You don't need to engage in petty conversations or defend your choices. Your success will be the loudest voice you have. And when it speaks, it will speak volumes. It will echo far beyond what words ever could. And that is the true power of silence. Let your success do the talking and watch as the world is forced to listen. So the next time someone tries to pull you into negativity, choose silence. Not out of weakness, but out of power. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Because in the end, silence doesn't just protect your peace. It dismantles those who seek to destroy it. And that, my friends, is how you truly win.